You are now in tune.
N-D-E-P-E-N-D-E-N-T. Back row, cook clean, and don't make a scene. When you